Time to be a Nigerian. It's a beautiful thing because this is when the whole game is stepped up. The time for campaigns are over, elections are over. Now it is to the rightful duties of the day, and it now calls for the serious aspects where everybody now is slugging it out and all ensuring that they get to. In this case now, the principal position. So it is the high peak of the season of the political whole drama that we've all witnessed in the past 2 months plus. So yes, it is expected. And of course, this is when they're lobbying, you know, and of course, trying to sway individuals to, you know, support their ambitions. And this is when the whole, all the rigmaroles and the tussles and the last minute preparations and meetings, you know, it's a whole lot that takes place at this particular time now. So it is the ripe season. And of course, it's also a time to see the individuals, you know, showcasing their own strengths, showcasing what over the years they have built in terms of networks, in terms of their own political career, and how well they have also fared. You know, because most of these we're seeing today are not something that, you know, that just emerged overnight. It's things that people have over time, you know, envisioned, taking time to build, and also taking time to nurture these dreams, and also realizing the fact that you need people to be able to have this, you know, come to fruition. So it's a peak season all over the world where the position for principal offices, you know, everybody have to slug it out to ensure that they get what they really want.
So now that the APC National Working Committee has now released a zoning template, and then the APC will now have nominated candidates for the 10th National Assembly, what do you make of this?
Yes, as a party, it has always been stated clearly, the party is supreme, and in this case, we are seeing the fact that APC has learned over the past 7 years plus, you know, in trying to keep its house in order, especially we're trying to avert what had happened in the 2015. You know, over the years, there has been the ups and downs. There will always be disagreement, which is the beauty of politics, you know. And we don't expect everybody to be on the same side. But however, I think the party has taken a rightful stand this time to ensure they get the house in order to be able to avert whatever could be an issue. It's better to have these things well discussed, have the individuals buy into it, because when people buy into it, then there is the fact to say, yes, you're making progresses. And of course, it is also a part of this that they would achieve whatever they would achieve in the next 4 years. So the party has taken a rightful decision, and the National Working Committee has also seen the need to also come together and ensure that these individuals who will be picked for the offices would have to be bought in by other fellow contestants. And I would say it is a good thing to see the fact that some people are beginning to show some kind of concerns and understanding, and they are even conceding, you know, and stepping down, which is also the beauty of democracy, you know, and it showcases the fact that the party is more united and that they are ready for the business of the day. So I think it's a kudos for the National Working Committee to have taken this rightful decision at the earliest stage to avert whatever could be as crisis as they journey on.
So talking about concerns, as expected, the decision by the APC is now generating reactions. And some aspirants have said they are going ahead with their bids. For you, is this really necessary?
You can never please everybody at all times. But we must begin to see these as a national assignment. When you have emerged as a representative, be it at the Senate or the House of Assembly, or even at these local state assemblies, you are no longer representing your household or your constituents alone. You are on the national task of building the nation. And it comes with having to concede in certain areas and having to lobby in other areas too. Because we must also be considerate to understand that, yes, there may be some people who have certain interests and feel that, yes, they have not been considered. But you must also look at the fact that it is a child who raises the arm amongst the others that is usually carried. And also to look at the fact that it is best to have, a good discussion and then play it out in a manner that showcases that you are ready for the business of the day. Of course, some persons would express certain concerns to showcase that, yes, there are grievances, that their requests have not been met. But we must look at the fact that, yes, there must be a leadership. And it is not the only leadership positions that is within the House. We have other various areas that other individuals will still have to fill in to be able to fulfill the duties of the day. So yes, it's expected. Everyone would always want for the number one positions or want more. But however, it is also to showcase that we are learning in our democracy and we're improving each day. We're making progresses from what we had in the past few years ago. So it's a kudos to us as a Nigerian. It's also kudos to the APC that they are taking time to also listen to some of these grievances, address them as early as they could, so that some persons don't go home to build up or begin to bottle up on certain on necessities at the moment.
So how best should the APC handle this situation to avoid this disagreement with other aspirants?
At the moment, I think there's already a show of sportsmanship, in the sense that, for instance, Senator David Umai has now considered to say, yes, for the interest of the nation and for the interest of the party, I would also step down, apparently, as he has also claimed that he had spoken with the president-elect, and in his own affirmation, to his own words, he gave him his word to step down. So I think at the moment, we're not seeing any heightened tension of disagreements, or to say that in some quarters they are on the protests. I don't think that has really happened at the moment. What we're seeing is, yes, certain echoes are saying, yes, we want to be heard. And I think the National Working Committee would definitely do justice to ensuring that it takes time to hear and address whatever issues or concerns that each person would raise at this particular time. Because it is also how well they start off that will tell how much of progress is expected at the 10th National Assembly. And it begins from the very first move in the House right now. And I think for the first time that we're having this, coming together and agreeing on a particular set of candidates, it showcases that, yes, there's some certain level of unity amongst them. And for you to have such understanding would have meant there has been a lot of discussions prior to what we're seeing on the cameras and what we've had reported all around. But it is also to say that the level of of people willing to concede, and I agree to the fact that they want to move forward, shows the fact that we are also making progresses in our democracy, and also the need to serve the people, which is actually the primary rules which these individuals have been elected to. So I think the party may do justice to also take a look at the nitty-gritty of whatever concerns that is being raised from every quarter.
Still talking about concerns, because we have some senators and some other lawmakers who are hell-bent on saying, someone like Senator Osita Izunaso is saying he will step down for anybody. We also have Senator Samaila from NNPP saying APC cannot dictate to the National Assembly. I'd like to ask you, for the lawmakers who already have the backing of the APC and NWC, how do you advise these lawmakers to handle the situation?
Well, the party has always and will continue to be supreme, amongst the candidates. every candidate who wants a progressive house or a progressive tent assembly would want to abide by the rules of understanding and compassion and also being considerate, because in this whole all tussles, the real tasks ahead are still so much that we do not need to spend so much time creating unnecessary fights here and there and create distractions that takes us away from the real goal. So the National Working Committee over time, I think, would need to, get closer to each candidate, especially at the point where some individuals feel that they don't want to step down for the other. There must be a way to convey the message that it becomes a unifying agreement. Because when people agree to a certain principle or activity or a certain agreement reached, there is always the affirmation nod, and it showcases that much progress will be made. But again, you must also look at the composition of the National Working Committee, which is a complete a composition of all persons from all the parts of the country, and ensuring that everybody's is represented equally, and also to showcase the fact that each concerns raised must also have a channel or portal to which this can be conveyed and also be addressed. And again, I want to hinge on the more on it being addressed, because we must also consider the fact that most of the things are time-bound. The 10th Assembly is just a few weeks away to be inaugurated. And all of this that is playing out now must be concluded and decided on time to allow the individuals and the principal officers to prepare for the task ahead, so that when they're inaugurated, of course, they will need time to be able to get themselves all packaged. And also having a harmonious relationship with the National Working Committee too. Because without there being a harmonious relationship, it will be difficult to achieve the task beforehand at the moment. So I think there's still a lot for the National Working Committee to do in terms of appealing to the concerned persons in order to be understanding and also be able to be considerate, especially when it has to do with the fact that this is a national task ahead of us. And as such, we must also be able to have our negotiations on the table to be able to discuss effectively, and also the lobbying must also be going on, because you must buy people to your side to agree to what you want to do, so that in the end people are able to see the reasons why they should be with you. But at the moment, I don't think anything has gone outside of the normalcy. It's normal to have people still want to aspire, which is also a good thing to have people aspire for the office too.
All right. So the Southeast has described the decision as unfair, especially zoning of the Senate presidency to the South-South. I would like to have your position on it.
Well, we must begin to look at things extremely from the point of making progress as a nation. I would want to for us all to see this as a national thing. The leadership of the National Assembly would not bring all the needed progresses to the Southeast. What I would have expected our people to do, the Southeasterners, is to begin to lobby for more positions in the other arms of the government. Because it is true there that these persons can be held accountable in their own placements, in the areas of primary assignments. So when we look at the fact that there's this bickering and here and there, I don't think our people are even looking at the fact that how many today do we have in the judiciary, and how many from the Southeast? These are the areas that our attention should have been more focused to getting more persons, in these areas, so we can have more representations in the judiciary, more representations in the other arms of the government. Because by the time we do so, we will also be able to now learn to align ourselves politically right. Because we must also see the fact that what is playing out today is not something of yesterday. We must go back to rebuild our political system and be able to prepare ourselves ahead for other leadership positions that will come our way, which is when the lobbying now comes. I think for us, it provides an opportunity for the Southeasterners to take a cue in learning how to lobby other persons from other zones, so that we can actualize whatever it is as development that our people are craving for. And it begins to, first of all, it has to do with us beginning to reach out to other persons within other zones, and then agreeing to the fact that we should expand our outreach in other meaningful areas. The government of the day is just about to start and affords us all a greater opportunity to be able to have better representations. But again, it depends on our lobbying. We must also take the time now to assess our own gains, or the situations or the areas where we want to, make meaningful progresses on. I think we need to ask ourselves over the years, where the Southeasters had the Senate presidency and other meaningful leadership positions in the House. Has it truly brought us all the needed progresses within the Southeast? No. What we should now look at is the fact that we must go beyond the Southeast. This is a national assignment. This is about being a true Nigerian. We must be able to see each other as, as an accessory to the other. And it begins with seeing beyond the National Assembly positions and putting ourselves more into getting the rightful positions that will attract the needed progresses in the Southeast. And it begins with the lobbying, and how well we do so also matters again.
All right, thank you very much for going there, Mr. Orji. And that would lead me to my next question, which is, now, do you agree with some arguments from some quarters indicating that perhaps the Southeast may even be the catalyst of its own problem? Because at the moment, the deputy speakership position has been zoned to the Southeast. But we presently have some Igbo youth group rejecting APC's choice of Benjamin Kalu for deputy speakership.
Well, at the moment, I think there's a whole lot of misunderstanding of certain positions, from some quarters. What I think the Igbos should be more focused on is the Nigerian project. The Nigerian project affords us all, the unity to work together with one another. And let us not forget the fact that what is a national assignment. It is not about the southeastern region, or the south-south, or the southwest, or the northeast, or any section of the country. What we're looking at the fact that when you have become a senator or become a House of Representative or in any elected position, it is no longer about your immediate clan. You are representing the Nigerian entity itself with all the boundaries that it has as a sovereignty. We must also look at beyond the fact that it is not about the representation of a certain circle or quarter. No, we should look at how indeed we can all work together, integrating and ensuring that there is representations. And also, let us also get this right too. The legislative, which is about the arm of making laws, the making of laws is not all that we need in Nigeria. We also need the building of the nation, which is the #1 task that Nigeria so deserves now. So if we are more focused on the leadership positions, what are we not looking at the other areas that concerns development? And it is the actual development that really matters to the people, to the common man on the street. We should look at how indeed, progresses and development can get to the last common man on the street. And it begins with thinking out clearly and marshalling out what indeed we want as a people.
All right, Mr. Orji, now the Northwest is also not happy that the zone was not considered equation. How justified is this claim?
Can you come again, please?
The Northwest is also not happy because of the, so how justified is this claim?
Yes, it's still the same national project. What I think our people should be more concerned in selling out is understanding that the unity of our dear nation and working together as a single integral is more important to us than the positions of each person holds. What we should also be more concerned is about the integrity of the individual. We need performing persons, and it should not be mainly about the regions. We should be more concerned about the output expected from these individuals. If we are to look at the various positions that have been held in the past, has it truly brought the needed progresses that the people from which states they came from? Has it really showcased the fact that it has solved all the problems that those states had? The answer is no. We must begin to look beyond this ethnicity or regional thing. No, it is a national thing. The minute we're able to understand the fact that we all have to work together as a Nigerian project, the Nigerian project would no longer ask you which region you come from, but rather be more accountable to the individuals who hold the positions. And these individuals will become more accountable. The region will play less. But again, it is also important that there is a checkmate, because we must also have everybody equally representing, so that I can know what is happening in other regions of the country. And it begins with having the representatives who can actually speak for the people and who can table the matter and the issues that the people have and the burning issues. And it happens because they have a representative. But again, we must also look at the fact that if we don't bring in the unity part of it, we'll be making less progresses. And we don't need more distractions now. So I think every region of the country should be more concerned about the unity of the country now. So let us focus on other arms of the government and also placing the individuals that will be more productive in areas they're put in.
Right. So how will you describe the choice of Akpabio for the position of Senate President?
Well, I would say over time, he has built his own career and has also been able to identify with his people. It is not a journey that he had started yesterday. You know, just like the president-elect, for so many who do not know the journey, would think that it was a dream that was achieved overnight. No. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. We agree. But you must also look at the fact that how well have you placed those steps? And on which directions have you, begun your journey on? These individuals have been able to distinguish themselves in their own areas. Let us not forget that his transformational leadership of 8 years in Akpabio brought him as one of the persons in the past governor who is still so closest to the people. And it has never failed to showcase each time he has a campaign or one of the things he has to do with the people. So it shows the fact that he's a man who has been able to identify by his people based on his productivity output. And I believe that his journeys thus far too has also spoken well for him too. And to even aspire for the leadership of the House showcases the fact that he already has a rich profile, a rich CV, which is speaking more for him than a lot of people who want to look at the other way. But again, it now shows to us as individuals to learn on building the bridges, because leadership is about accepting everyone as one and relating irrespective of their religion or their divides, and understanding the fact that leadership comes with a responsibility. And this same individual has been able to handle.
Sadly, we're out of time. Sadly, we couldn't cover the entire conversation today. But of course, I know we would have more time to discuss. Thank you very much for coming on the program. I was speaking with Mr. Alexander Orji, political affairs analyst. And tonight we took another look at the battle for the leadership of the 10th National Assembly. Thank you very much for coming on the program. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you very much for watching. That marks the end of today's episode of Politics Tonight. But the conversation continues from here. Get in touch with us on Twitter at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Olajumoke Olatuji. Goodbye.